Alright, I think we're live. Maybe. This is the new machine, so I guess we'll see. Is it live? Maybe it's live. Alright, if it's live and you're watching the VOD, thanks for being here. Bitrate's looking... I guess it's good. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if somebody comes in. If somebody comes in... There we go. There's people. There's people. Alright, it's working. Let me look over at my CPU's looking good. Not too bad. Alright, everything's looking like it's working so far. Those of you watching the VOD, thank you very much. Always appreciate your comments 98% of the time. So thanks for doing that. Oh, it's so weird. I've got 3 monitors now. The machine's running and like CPU utilization is like 30%. Okay, that's cool. All right, we're doing it. Tim, Gunnerwolf, Sarinth, Lazy Lions, my dear friend Justin Beard, Sarinth. Is it Zenadel? Hello, Thadvik, Housepanth. Hi, all you guys. Tyron. Ethereum. As you can tell, I'm still leaning towards my mic. Maybe the next big investment will be like a better mic stand that actually makes it all the way in front of me or something. So I can stop. I'm always like leaning sideways. Hey, Bill. Mini painting enthusiast. What's going on? What's up, Eric? Hamer. Won't be able to make any excuses now. I don't think you know me very well when it comes to streaming. I always have excuses. It's rarely my machine isn't working. It's more typically like I don't have I don't have the willpower. It's like it's 8 p.m. and I just can't do it today. So, yeah, thank you for welcoming me back. I see your happy holidays. I will raise you a Merry Christmas. I will be streaming today, and then I will stream on Sunday. How's everything sounding? Is everything kind of normal the way it usually is? I'll be streaming Sunday again with the wonderful folks. I don't know exactly how many will be there. 2 or 3 wonderful folks from Embers Adrift. And we'll just be talking about their project and kind of their journey to date and what's going on with them and some of the latest stuff they've got going on. And I'm pretty excited for that one as well. We caught up recently. I caught up with them recently and just kind of went through some of their story with them and what's been going on, all that stuff. And they're really, really fantastic dudes. Riddlebark, Nimielf, Sup Baby, Tontergeist, Implicit, what's going on? Justin said, bad windstorm and rainstorm here, but I'm prepared. I should be able to watch your stream in the event of an outage with battery backup power. Right on, dude. I hope Maine is not too brutal yet. Hope you're doing okay. Taunter Guy said, hey Robot, been a while since the summer playtest. It has been a while. Caranthia, thanks for that. What's up, Chad Solo, Weirdo, Redress, Faith Fellowship Fun, What's going on? Derelict. Let's see. My eyes are getting kind of weird because I've got computer glasses now and I've got my normal glasses, but maybe I just need to adjust my position relative to this other monitor. Why is that kind of blurry now? What's up, Pipes? Craft, Echo, Asmodania. Hope you got a good PC deal this time. Last one was a flop. Yeah, these guys came through. They were quick. They communicated what was going on well, and they got the shit here. And so I'm happy for the second company, and I'm glad the first company just owned up and like gave me my cash back quickly. What's up, Chinny? Oh, green screen. That means I need to go in. I know what's going on there. Let me go into main camera. Oh yeah, like the fact that everything. I'm gonna give a. I will say, I don't want to say I would give a shout out. I will say that Streamlabs Desktop did right by me because I didn't even think that this would be the case. I didn't realize it, but they had everything backed up. So when I installed desktop, the Streamlabs Desktop app on this machine, it was ready to go. Everything was good. Like my patented like sexy voice filter, my blemish remover, the bufferizer 5000, everything was pre-installed. Yeah, Baron 65, exactly. It's all the machine. Speaking of filter, let me go into. Hey Corvus, let me open the properties. Yeah, and let me configure video. Let me get rid of. Oh no, it's the auto white balance that winds up making the green screen pop when I move. That happens, so then I've got to do this, but then it makes me orange, and then I got to find this range. Is it sparkling in the background? Is that going to be good enough? You guys let me know. And it's probably also the autofocus that's doing it. We good? I should move this to my other monitor. Yes, I think. I don't know. Let me go back to here. Apply. I think it's fine. Zumargana said, yo, Sean finally made a stream from Japan. What time is it there? What's up, Candyman? Single Malt Wiz. Teriel. Atomic Frog, what's going on? Baron 65, thanks for that earlier. Fat Chunk is here. Gucci Gouda. Roar Rare. A bunch of you flying in here. Who did I skip? I just skipped somebody. Is it... I don't think I've said this out loud before. Is it Tandanaki 101? Anyway, hey, thanks. And thanks for the follow, Single Malt. If you're orange, try turning off the temporary reduction utilization memory parser. Are you kidding me right now? That doesn't even sound like a real thing. Morgana, thank you for the follow. So yeah, anyways, like I said, pre-Christmas stream, getting that knocked out, and then on Sunday, it's gonna be the Embers Adrift guys. Adjust the flux capacity. That's what I was thinking actually. What's going on, green screen? All right, we're going back into the settings. We're hitting the configurizer. We're turning off. We're turning off that nonsense. Even if I'm orange, I don't... Alright, we're gonna run with this for now. If you guys, if it looks janky or something's messed up, let me know. Will alpha testers automatically become beta testers? Yes. When I mentioned that some may not previously, it was partially tongue-in-cheek and partially me like indicating there might be one or two bad apples that we need to talk to before we do it. But if we haven't talked to you yet, then you're probably fine. But alpha testers will become beta testers. And then, did you guys see it's pinned? Everybody may not have seen it, but it's pinned in Discord, and it will be part of our update. We'll be posting an update on like all the beta related stuff very soon. We're hoping to have everything locked down a little bit sooner so that we could review it with the team and then get it to you guys like basically this week, but life happens, and we're gonna be running through it with the team this weekend and getting you guys the update as soon as possible. But the thing that we'll be announcing to the people that didn't see it in Discord is we have an opt-in set up. It lets you opt in to essentially you're then registered as an interested account, and then we can run regular lotteries against the opt-in list. The opt-in list, last I looked, I think is about, I don't think I'm lying, I think it's about 3,000 people have opted in already. Let me take a look. And the what it does is allow, yeah, it's 3,128 at the moment. And we haven't even like sent it out in the update and stuff. So do not despair. We have not figured out how many people we're going to run the lottery for, but this seemed like a nice way to ensure that if you're watching, because I've seen a few of the YouTube comments and stuff, like if you're not able to watch the streams live, if you're not in Discord, or even if you are, like, this will just be one of those opportunities for us to like fire off, you know, once a week or whenever we do it, like X number of people get in. And then because it's going to be an odds thing, we've also got a setup. Swanee hooked all this up for us. It's really great. We've got a setup that's a friend invite part of it. So we can define, like, when we run the lottery, just random number, please don't fixate on it. But if we said like, hey, well, I'll just use X. This week we're going to run a lottery for X number of people. Those people, we can also then give them a certain number of friend invites. So if you get it, but your, you know, best friend or your significant other or whatever didn't get it, because what are the odds of that? Especially we're at 3,000 people already. then you can give them an invite. Like, you basically give them a link, and if they've opted in, then Death Rider said, "What if I have no friends?" Then you could probably give it to your other account, or you could, I don't know. I bet you can make a friend. Yeah, you've got somebody that wants to be your friend already. So there you go. Yeah, so that's the setup now, and that's what we'll be using during beta and then moving forward even. The green cap is the only thing that looks funny, but my cap is... Oh, the green cap of my bottle. Hey, Tsunami-san. Synthetic said, "So crazy story. They tried to recall me to the military today. Weird thing about it is I've never been in the military, so that was a neat surprise. Turns out it was the name mix-up. Oh, what were you going to be? What did they think you did in the military?" Synthetic, that's a fun story. I'm very curious. Do I think it's realistic to get beta EA timing to you guys next week, or is it probably going to be after Christmas thing? Unless we just get like some really gnarly feedback from the team when we go through it tomorrow. You know, kind of we've laid the groundwork, and we just want to go through some of the more of the specifics as we're doing some sanity checks. Then, yeah, in theory, we should be able to get that to you next week. Liz Biscuits, what's going on? How are you doing, milady? However you do it. However you do it. It didn't work right. It wasn't. My fedora is in the shop. Lazy Lions, why are you dueling me? Don't do that. How does it work with guilds? Would you allow one winner to invite up to 5 people for a full-size group? The math on that might get a little weird. So I don't know if it's going to be 5. But we've got to work through those numbers and just kind of figure it out. And it may be variable just based on participation rates or whatever. There may be some situations where we're talking to certain, like, because we do appreciate when people have groups, and you know, when people talk about like, oh, it's biased because, you know, Guild X made it in, or Guild Y is in there and they're getting their people in, but Guild Z isn't, or whatever. I mean, it's the way life works. It winds up being a thing where we know such and such group of people, we've talked to them before, we work with them or whatever, and then they've got some people and we're like, go ahead and get in, and then other people come to us, we've never met them before, but we talk to them, we get them in. You know, it's been pretty hit or miss. So I think there will still be a certain amount of that, right? Obviously, as we go forward. But the hope was in getting just like this basic setup in place, then generally speaking, people have a chance to get in. So we'll see. And keep in mind, all of this is just, it's just ultimately the goal for all of this is for us to get a decent sized test community that's providing us with good data and feedback, and not burning like everybody out by like getting everybody in or whatever. That said, we will continue to run open play tests as well during beta. So, and we'll have more information about that as well. Faldine says, just found out about this game from Redbeard's YouTube. Played EQ since start, so nice to see the roots again. Thank you, Redbeard Flynn, for calling this game out. He's been great to us. And the videos from like the early playtests, especially the one where he's like, I wonder if fall damage is on, and he hops off of, I think it was the Wizard Spire, and it was kind of laggy. So he's like, oh, nope, I don't think it is. And then proceeded to die like 10 seconds later. That was pretty good. Will closed beta be a fresh start, or will previous characters from playtest be available for use? Will the alpha characters be available? Brute Dragoon, we will cover all of that in our update. Swingburn asked, are you talking about closed beta keys? Kind of jumped in after meat potatoes. I was just reviewing what I mentioned in Discord, which is, I mentioned we have a new system that allows us to... Is that wall always there? I guess... Okay, I was thinking I was down here. But yeah, so we have a new system that will allow us to run a regular lottery if you've opted in, and there'll be more information about we'll provide more information. If you don't know what that means, you will know. Lazy Lion said stream delay robot. The duel was in response to mention of some bad apples. Okay. Wait a second. Who is this handsome devil? This guy seems like somebody I want to hang out with. Did I mention when they expect to start drawing names for the beta? I did not mention it, but it won't be until we go into beta. The dude in the basement asked, any plans for more regular playtests? Was excited for the game, but key giveaway had been impossible. Lost steam after not hearing anything from you guys for 2 months. Any plans to at least communicate more consistently? What do you mean by communicate more consistently? Are you in our Discord by chance? I still got to get, there we go. I still got to get everything. Yeah, so, I mean, we do what we can. We try to be pretty present in Discord, like, daily. And then... the newsletter can be a little sloppy at times, right? Usually if we're doing an update, it gets posted out and stuff, but every once in a great while, like I did this last time, I might be a little slow on the draw with the newsletter. But we're in our Discord, and members of the team stream a few times a week. So... we can't, I mean, we can only kind of do what we can do. There's definitely some inconsistency on the updates, and I can be a little slow on the on posting my VODs, but other than like stream regularly and be in Discord, we're probably not going to do a ton more than that. But I mean, and I'm not trying to, you know, pick on your question or anything. I was just curious. Yeah, if you're just going off the newsletter, I absolutely can sympathize with it seeming like there's a drought. It's just the reason why we don't like do Discord and a set of forums is we're already stretched too thin on Discord. Like the reality is there's a ton of threads and there's a lot of activity, and you guys probably the reality is you probably feel like you're not seeing us enough in some of those threads, and I can definitely appreciate that. If we were to have like our own forum or something like that, then we'd be stretched even thinner, and so we'd want to pick one or the other. And for us it was just like, all right, we'll hit Discord, we'll stream, we'll post our VODs. I try to respond to you know, if I post a VOD, and I think Nick and Zukin and other guys do this as well, we try to respond to comments and stuff as we see them on VODs. That's kind of where we're at. And our hope is that we can at least maintain this level of interaction activity even as we go live. It'll be interesting to see how the dynamic changes once we go into early access and start taking money and see how much the honeymoon's kind of over. Oh, and Reddit. Try to respond on Reddit, believe it or not. But we don't have community managers. We don't have anybody speaking for us. We don't have like social media managers or anything of that nature. So it could definitely, I can, you know, can see where you might get a little more interaction. GM Trent does a good job of staying on top of folks in Discord. But yeah, so today is today's the maiden voyage of the new machine. It's doing well. I say that as I'm zoning. I guess we'll see how that works out for me. I've zoned. Let's see. Excuse me. Oh man. I'm drinking kombucha because it's healthy, but it makes me very burpy. So I'm gonna probably be even burpier than normal, unfortunately. The new machine, as I hear it in a robotic voice, the timing. Oh no, is my voice robotic? Kombucha burps are gross? No, they're tasty. so fun getting a new machine. So far, this has not been bad. Now the trick is, I'm still like archiving stuff off the old machine because I've given Jasmine the old machine, and then we'll get it all cleaned up for her. Need to fix the voice modulator in the new PC. Your voice isn't deep enough. Is that true? Maybe it's just my mood today. What's up, Squats? What all you have running in said machine? Are you asking about my system specs? Are you trying to look under my hood? Who's the man to assault? I mean, politely ask about recommended specs for the game. If you tag First in Discord, First is the one that helped me set this up because I know nothing about hardware in the current state of hardware. So I went straight to First and was like, First, please tell me what to buy. And he's so amazing. He wrote up like a 10,000 word essay on the pluses and minuses of all the different things. And I was like, dude, I just tell me specifically what to buy. And so yeah. Hey, Dargus. I got a Ryzen 7 9700X in a RTX 5070 Ti and yeah, and 32 gigs of DDR5. And it did not cost $99,000, believe it or not. It cost 99,000 euro. Because I live in Europa. But it is nice to finally be able to stream, have 3 monitors running, have the client running, getting 90 frames, and CPU utilization is bouncing between... well, it's bouncing all over the place, but it's like between 28, 34, 58, and then back down. So... I don't know if that's good or not, but it's running, so that's better than that one stream a couple streams ago. What's up, Coop? And Sna. And IGT. Deadliest NPC. Liz says, I got a pre-built machine, decent spec until the Intel debacle was known. So my only regret is it's Intel. I honestly, like I said, I wouldn't have known at all. Had I not asked first. He goes through, he knows so many details about what's going on with like the hardware and all this stuff. And I'm just like, dude, I don't. Zen Zero, hey. Merry Christmas. I wonder, let me dig it up and see how much I paid for the RAM over here. Because everybody's been talking about how like gnarly it is, and I'll be honest, I didn't think it was that crazy. They don't have the price itemized here. I'd have to go back and check on the site or something. I don't remember the RAM being that crazy, but I only got 32 gigs, and um let's see. Yeah, since the price isn't showing there, I don't need to have that up. Dargit said, you know what I miss, Sean? Dev gameplay streams. You need to rustle up to current Slays and Beasts. We've been talking about that all week. It won't be this one, but when we come back from the break, I'll be out next week. We've been talking about it all week. Ollie, Nick, and I have been discussing it in our various discussions on stuff. Yeah, so it's gonna happen. But I honestly, this transition to the new machine has been so painless. I'm so appreciative of it. And like I said, honestly, one of the biggest things I thought was going to be a giant pain in the ass was like Streamlabs setup. Oh my god, that's horrible. That was the worst burp. I apologize. It's Friday. Little casual Friday. Kombucha. Getting gnarly. New zombie action. The hips don't lie. Poor Shakira turned into a zombie. Yeah, so we've got some cool zombie options available to us now. Got to go through and update some NPCs. I did over the last like few days, I did very little work on several of the things that I wanted to get done, but I was just really focused on like getting this beta stuff resolved. So Candyman said on one of Nick's recent streams he shared that he wasn't sold on day blindness for Ultravision because the blurring effect kicks in and obscures some pretty landscapes and POIs for the game. Curious what your opinion is on that. We haven't really got to fix that tree. We haven't really dug into it much in terms of thoughts and sort of like solutions or whatever. One thing that we could potentially do, and maybe it would be cheesy or maybe it would look cool, is have it be less impactful on the environment rendering, but maybe more so on like the NPC rendering distance. And then maybe have an intermittent effect so that for the most part you're seeing the landscape, so you kind of know where you're at, but then, and yeah, so it's something we can play with. It really is a tough one. We've tried some different stuff, so Vegas the Great said, let me... Said, I've been meaning to ask, who can I send a Christmas card to for giving me my all-time favorite moment in video games? Chardock has Grand Lorekeeper Kino Shaidan, who has a chance to drop preserved Chodokai vocal cords and the clicky voice graph on it for the enchanter. It took me months of camping to get it. When I did, had insane amounts of fun charming enemies and talking them through them and giving Lobby's quest as Emperor Crush while Minor Illusioned into a bench in the Keep of Crushbone. Itemization for the Chardock revamp was done by Rich Waters, who is in our community at times. He's around. He's actually... I don't want to like rat him out, but he's, you know, he's playing a little Eminem. He and the missus playing a little Eminem. So he's out there. I don't have an address for you to send a Christmas card to, but I will let him know that you're looking for him. But that was Rich. The itemization in Chardock was Rich, and I did the NPC placement, and I think I don't remember if we added any new quests. We just made sure all the old quests still worked and stuff like that. Who can you send a Christmas card to get the files needed to bring Vanguard Saga of Heroes back? I think that's EG7. I believe EG7. They still own it. If we ever won the lottery, we would, you know. There's some things I wouldn't mind noting. There's Zukin. Zukin, we were just checking out your new zombie model. She went strutting by in Sungreed Strand. So you misread my name as a naughty name at first. I can't even begin to imagine what that might be. Is Azrael X the rapper story arc for Azrael when he decided to give his life for some beats? That would be Little Azrael X. That's a completely different character. Finally off work until the new year. Jobin Lee, hey, congratulations on the time off. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Yeah, it doesn't feel like Christmas a ton right now. It will when we go to Cologne and see the family next week. It'll definitely feel that way, but it's been a little like, it's just trying to get a lot of stuff done before we hit the break. Kids are home now, LOL. Hey, well that's nice, right? That's got to make it a little bit more Christmassy. Your current employer shuts down entirely for 2 weeks. Still crazy to me after I spent 2 years on call over the holidays. Really looking forward to it. Oh yeah, I gotta imagine that's wild. So after working in the U.S. for the first half of my career, moving to Europe and seeing how they handle holidays and time off is talk about a culture shock. What's been my favorite thing to work on, even in the tense crunch? You mean ever in life? Europe is a dream? Europe is a nice place to visit. Recently. Was recently. Recently. Favorite thing to work on. We're working on a secret dungeon. We're working on a secret dungeon. We don't know if it'll be ready, so that's why. Oh, look at these guys. You know what? These guys look even better with decent frame rate. Is it bigger than Grimtide? Yeah, it's actually. It is. But Grimtide is like. Grimtide's a great example of just like packing a lot of punch into a smaller dungeon. Because it was like, Chinny was like, oh, I made a mini dungeon, and I honestly thought it was like 2 rooms. I think I was confusing it with something else. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. I think I've seen it. You know what I mean? Like it's a cool. And I thought it was just like a room. There's like a entry and then a room. The thing I was thinking of was like, yeah, okay, well that's cool. And then Stab was looking for something to work on, and he was like, I think he said something like, oh, I was talking to Chinny and maybe I could do Grimtide, and I was just like, okay, yeah, because he was looking for some work to do, and I was like, but mentally I was just kind of thinking, okay, then what are you going to do with the rest of your day? It's like, it's 2 rooms. Right, because Stav had just finished something else. And so we were like, yeah, let's hop in and take a look at the 2 rooms that you're going to populate. And he might have already known what he's getting into, or I think he had more of an idea than I did, but then we like zone into Grimtide, and I'm just like, what in the world is this? And it just kept going, and there's like all these badass rooms, badass entry, tunnel. Well, I'm not going to spoil it. There's a lot of cool stuff if you haven't been there. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it, but you guys got me started. Anyways, it's a very cool dungeon. I probably already said too much, to be honest. Let me make sure I'm not getting any mean tells. All right. Hey, Dasaba. Now that we have Grimtide, when can we expect Pleasantide? I mean, we've got a long ways to go before we hit 1.0. That sounds like something you might find around the Halfling area. How much will deity selection influence your rep? So the approach that we are, say it like this, it will have a clear influence with factions of clearly opposite alignment, right? So if you're going with a good god or an evil god, as you're running into factions that are of the opposite alignment, then then it'll have a noticeable impact. It's funny you're asking about. I was just answering a question that Ali had about religion on the other screen. So it's kind of weird to like look over and see that question. The thing with the religion system that we're putting in place is that you can renounce your god and you can build up your devotion with other gods over time. And so it's a fluid system similar to how factions work. Will religion remain unlimited? I quite like the idea of being able to be anything as any race currently. So the idea is that it's going to work, and this is one of those things that's kind of, it makes sense on paper, but we'll see how it actually plays out as we're working through early access. It'll be a combination of your factions and your religion, and so it's not just enough to like renounce your god and to go, hey guys, I'm available. Do you want to let me into your secret cult? You'll actually have to do work to build up your faction with, in this case, that cult, in order to potentially gain access to that faith. So, how deep are you looking to go with rep and rep-related gated content? Do you look at it like a balancing scale, or all content should be available to everyone? We look at it as a nice tool to gate content. We're very much not of the like belief that everybody should just have access to everything. I feel like there was a question that I should have answered up above here that I'm going to scroll up and try to find. Any plans on having dungeons within dungeons, like Lower Gok, maybe even dungeons inside of dungeons that are all located in the deep? Popplebard, yeah, that seems cool. We actually had some plans for some like deeper areas within some dungeons that you're already familiar with, so the answer is yes. And like mini dungeons within dungeons and stuff like that. It's all stuff that we can do in the future. Hey, Helter Smelter. Tannoke said, that's crazy. So, for example, an Ixar could be totally accepted by the Wood Elves, for example, as long as they farm all the faction. Yeah, I mean, we have people on the team that are, that's one of the things they like to do, is go grind crazy faction to be able to go to interesting places or whatever. One of the friends of the stream who's been around forever, that, you know, we met back in the day. He's basically the troll king of the halflings. His thing was he just went out and worked his faction so that he could be a troll and then hang out in like Misty Thicket and stuff. So. Switching gods could keep you from training your class, couldn't it? It could potentially, but if you look at how we approach classes, There are evil paladins. There are good shadow knights, right? Like, so the class itself isn't like as hard locked in terms of the class fantasy or the fiction of it. Like a shadow knight's more of kind of a Witcher type character, whereas a paladin, you know, is a zealous warrior of a faith, and or someone that is like zealously pursuing a specific mission if they're agnostic. Hey, Merry Christmas, Zeitgeist. Same for clerics as well, yeah. Yeah, agnostic cleric is a thing. Because they derive their power from their faith in their ability to be able to but what is the term? It's not, the concept's not bothering me. The English is killing me. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. It's the concept is fine. I'm just like, I'm spacing out at 9:30 on the actual English words for it. I think what I'm trying to say is their belief in their ability to, you know, deliver healing or to invoke a certain like spell or ability allows them to do it without needing them to, like, draw that from a particular god. Because they're agnostic as well. They're not atheists. So one of the things I was working on before kind of just being mostly focused on trying to pull together some of the planning and stuff that we're doing is this area here. So this should be a lot more playable now. I still gotta get some rares in here, but oh, somebody, I didn't remember what somebody asked, and I totally forgot. Somebody asked how long that I've been working on the project. And we started working on M&M in 2020. We kind of cite like September as our official date, but we were talking in DMs and stuff about what we wanted to do with the game, like in June or July. So since then, back when it was all capsules and stuff. Is the castle in the middle accessible? Not yet. But you can get near it if you're brave enough and, I guess, high enough level. Will some dungeon named mobs be quest givers if you somehow have friendly rep with that dungeon faction? If you go into Telekir, you can already experience that. It's a concept we were playing around with called like a monster city. So and then over time, like one of the things, you know, when people talk about like what would you want to add to the game over time, as we're working towards 1.0, the hope is to not only introduce new content, but to go back and... Let me turn off the rain. We'll go back and layer in more quests, more of this factional stuff. I think Dargith, you had asked if anything is either Dargith or Darius, I think, asked earlier, like, is there anything gated behind religion at the moment? There's nothing gated behind religion at the moment, but we want to get that stuff in, ideally for beta, early access, but we'll see. That's what we're trying to discuss now, is like the exact scope of what we're going into beta and then early access with. Being able to go to a monster city as a PC and then in the future be a monster race doing faction to get it into the human cities is badass. We've talked about play as a monster as well. That's one of our things for like closer to 1.0 or after 1.0. We really just over time with one of the things I think was an eye-opener for a lot of folks in the industry was watching the success of TLPs and people's enjoyment of TLPs. Like if you enjoy the game fundamentally, basically, if you enjoy the content that you've been experiencing in the game, if it seems like something you want to replay, then TLPs make sense. And you know, if you look at what Daybreak was able to do with their TLPs, I think it shows that there's some value in that idea of not just moving away from your flagship game. It's something we've been saying for like over 20 years now, but hey, what if we continue to reinvest in content in this world? Would you come back in and it's 70-80% all stuff that you've have seen before, but in our case, hopefully the world is big enough to mean that you maybe haven't spent much time in certain dungeons or played certain race class combos and progressed up through that region or whatever. So there's that, but then the idea is what if we're also continuing to just add more content into the game so that you're able to like come back in and be like, oh shit, I've never seen this before, or there's entirely new quest lines for you and stuff like that. What is play as a monster supposed to be? Like special TLP type server? A decent milk? No, the idea was based off of, there was an extremely short-lived feature in EQ back in the day that allowed you to play as a monster, and it would randomly put you into a NPC, low-level NPC. And it was something that I believe Todd Schmidt had put in. Hobart. If you watch the old interviews, I think here. Where is it? VODs. I got to get the Stream Deck set up again. Maybe it's neither one of those. Let me find it on the... I've got a command somewhere. I imported them over, but the Stream Deck's not set up yet. About. Are these, is this the, no, that's the M&M stuff. Anyways, I did a series of interviews with EverQuest developers in the first year or first couple years of us working on this. And so if you go to the A Loving Robot YouTube page, and then look for Todd Schmidt, Hobart, he probably gets into it. Doesn't Lord of the Rings Online have a feature where you can level up as a creature type as well? Yes, I believe so. But it's been, I'll be honest with you, it's been a couple years since we were discussing this in any detail. But I think that's one of the ones that we're looking at as well. I'm gonna keep running because it's funny. Sometimes there'll be a comment on the YouTube, like the YouTube videos that we post, the VODs that we post will be like, "Is there only one zone in the game?" Because like we'll wind up sitting in here and chatting with you guys when we're not working or playing, and then people get upset they only saw one zone. So far you've seen 3 zones, but they're all sandy, so I guess that's also something you could not be into. So we'll head towards the shore. This stream is mainly me just seeing if my new machine would work, and so far it's working fantastically, so that's great. Thanks, Squirrel. Bill linked the YouTube channel, YouTube playlist. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm not somebody that buys hardware very frequently these days. When I was a younger man with more disposable income and not bootstrapping a new project, then I would buy machines more frequently. What card did I get for my machine? What did I say it was? 5070 Ti? I already forget. Yeah, it's a 5070 Ti. Is the world flat? It can't be flat if it's on a tortoiseshell. If I get some downtime over the holiday, try Cyberpunk 2077. Bill, I don't see downtime over the holiday being a thing, but maybe I'll pick it up on Steam, and just hop in for a moment. Hey, Plateau. Everything is going great on my end. I hope you're good. Yeah, Cyberpunk looks great. I just honestly I feel guilty. Like if I had enough time to play Cyberpunk, I would have enough time to play more M&M. And at the end of the day, there's so much stuff that I want to. Excuse me. Maybe this will sound silly. It probably won't sound silly. I guess it probably makes sense. There's so much stuff that I still want to get into the game just from a, when I'm not doing like work and, you know what I mean? Like there's the work that I need to get done like in zones like this to kind of revamp some stuff and make them a bit better and more polished. Then there's just like lore and content that I'd like to work on just because I'm excited to get it done. And then there's even more. You know, if I had extra time, it would be like, can we get in yet one more little zone, like another mini dungeon or something? Are there any other pet projects that contend with this when you were thinking up, stirring up a new project, or was it always just M&M? Goblin... No, it was always just M&M. We've talked about other things that we would maybe want to do in the future, for sure. But like M&M, honestly, like M&M, the direction for M&M came up. We had some initial discussions. We pulled it together. And it's just been like, that's been the focus. You know what I mean? Like, because you can go back, I've got files, I've got those old Blender files from like October of 2020. And it was already like, all right, this is the direction we're going. We had the deconstruction posted up on Trello. And we're just like, this is the game we want to make. And just go. And it's been... You know, obviously there's been cool additions, especially on the content side and the scope of content. And like when you came on board, Goblin, it was like, oh, what about these other like races and stuff? So there's all of that. But like the kind of core direction and what it is we wanted to make, that happened early on, like playing TLPs and then P99 and stuff, and we were like, hey, this style of gameplay and the nostalgia factor and these themes and all this stuff, like, this is the game we want to make. And that's that. So there was nothing competing with it. There are some early discussions about like trying to get people interested in potentially kicking it off, where it was hard to get traction initially. And that's why it wound up just being like, you know, that first year is Bunny and Nick and Ollie. Owen Sir, thank you for the follow. And then since then, it's like there's nothing else that, like, in order to do this, we've got to, you know, we've got to be focused on doing this. Are there plans to add unpaid assisted roles similar to EQ guides? No plans for that at the moment. That's a really tricky business. And I say that as somebody that like appreciates the opportunity that I got as a guide to become, like, I went from being a guide to an EQ GM to being an EQ designer, right? So I appreciate that route. It's just something we've got to kind of be careful that we can manage. Which went into a question that came up earlier from, who was it? Was it Darius or Corvus? Or it was Corvus. Have you guys discussed contingencies where the game is much more successful than your predicted player count? Yeah. We try to cover the gambit of like, what if we only have 500 subs the first year? What if we have 5,000? What if we have like 20,000, but then everybody gets excited and then it tapers back down to like 2,000 after a month or 2 months? Like, how do we make sure that we're mentally prepared for that? If our goal has always been like, hey, how do we make this game knowing that it's probably going to be ultra niche, and stay excited about the fact that we're working on it despite the fact that maybe we've just got a very small player base, then we've got to look at, all right, if our original thinking was this is very niche and we may only have a few thousand subs, well, if something happens and we get, you know, 10x that or something like that, but then it goes back down, then we can't lose our shit and like go, oh, we got to change the game to try to keep all these people or something like that. We've got to look at fundamentally, how do we feel about the game that we set out to make? You know, are there specific things that we do believe we need to change or want to change? Or are we just chasing the numbers? Do we think that if we kept the game the same in some of these areas that are more contentious, but fix these other problems, that people would come back? Shit like that. So, make sure your network infrastructure is scalable. It is. And, you know, like we're doing some stuff, and we'll continue to do some stuff to try to get a feel for what kind of scenario we're really going into when it comes to early access, and then try to be as prepared for that as possible. How many players will the server cap be? Really, the main problem that we have at the moment going into early access will just be the available content at the time. But as we add additional modules, as we add more zones and cities and things like that, areas that players can start in, then that makes it so that we can support more people concurrently. But keep in mind, when people go, how many people can a server support? Keep in mind that rel, I would have to look at the numbers again. Let me bring it up really fast. Where is it? Oh my gosh, it's so... I'd have to scroll up so much. Because I don't want to misstate it, but I was just looking at this the other day because I was having this discussion with the guys. And, I wish I should have this example just on hand, but I'll memorize the number moving forward, but I wanted to scroll up and like confirm it. Okay. So that's not very big, is it? All right. So if we had 10,000 unique accounts play during the last playtest, then we had 6,300 unique accounts just on rel. And we had 3,953 unique accounts on Krivia, the smaller server. So when you look at like when you're discussing server population, then we've got to differentiate between like peak concurrent, your daily active unique players, and then your overall like player base. Unique IP or unique accounts? It's unique accounts, but the based on the tooling that we have available to keep an eye on the degree to which unique players are playing, what's the different way to phrase that? Based on our current understanding of how many people were botting how many accounts, it's the number of people playing multiple accounts is actually a much smaller percentage of players than you would expect. Now, I mean, we could be wrong with our data on that, but we're fairly confident so far, and it is a lot. It's a lot smaller than. You would think. Sorry, I was just reading. Any thoughts on forcing spawns for the new cities modules as they're made, similar to how just about all the races started in Night Harbor? Could limit race options to the new module to test issues with newly implemented quests rather than people just running the Night Harbor again. Well, I mean, we'll be testing those separately. I think I'm misunderstanding the question. Weatherby, I believe it's 6 seconds. But I might be wrong on that. Any information I don't actively use or regurgitate on a daily basis, I pretty much forget at this point. My brain's stuffed full of other useless info. Arcanol, yeah. It may seem familiar. Legally distinct, thank you. Goblin said, if we get this formula down and the feature complete, etc., would we translate this sort of game into another theme? Yeah, I mean, so we're doing a couple things at once. Not to sound like, you know, whatever, goofy or pretentious or whatever, but the focus is on, we're making a game, but we're also trying our best to learn how to build the company that we want, right? I think one of the things that I think one of the challenges that other companies have in trying to make something that is I don't know, like a WoW killer or whatever straight out of the gate, or trying to make like a AAA MMO, whatever that means, is it's challenging to, it's already challenging enough to make a product. But then if that studio has never worked together before, if that, you know, if the teams like not familiar with each other, haven't worked together, if the people running the company have never run a company before, or a studio, or if you know, they're essentially any new variable winds up compounding the challenge of like initial success. And the higher you shoot with regards to you know, the bigger the budget, the bigger the audience that you're trying to capture or whatever, the more that the more risk that you're incurring, like, overall. And so the thought was like, hey, can we make something that is a niche, kind of lower budget game and learn from it and do well enough to like keep the lights on and build skill set, you know, potentially build a team, get a lot of valuable experience under our belts. And then can we translate that moving forward into, say we see enough success that the team is like, hey guys, this wasn't a complete waste of our time. Now, that could mean that we only have a few thousand subs and we can't pay everybody, but everybody's going, we know why we don't. We realize that we are making something very specific and very niche. If we were making something slightly different or whatever, we might see more success. Like, this is an opportunity for us to just kind of like get going. And ideally, if we're doing well enough that we can pay people, and, you know, even if it's not like every single volunteer, we could look at it and go, hey, what about this other idea? And then smartly, you know, build on the experience that we have. Now, moving forward, the hope has always been that we take our approach on this one pretty seriously. And so, like, to greenlight a new project, it would be start with another like very small core team, have them stream, have them work with the community straight out the gate, see if there's any following at all. It's like, hey, you know, people have mentioned like the idea that we were talking about. Telat said shooter MMO next, right? But like, say we're in a position where we can start working on that, then it would be okay. Is that appealing? Like, start working on it. Just start streaming and start working on it. Be very open. I firmly believe that our approach of just being very open with what we're doing, interacting with the community the entire time, all of that, you know, that's the way to go. It's one of the most interesting ways of making games that I've seen since I got in the industry. I should probably come back in here and fix this. It looks like the ground got adjusted, and so there's some bugs there. Yeah, so that's the thought, but ideally we're able to leverage as much of what we've done before as possible, but you know, different games are different beasts. So it's like, our networking works for this, will it work for, you know, will it work for the MMO idea, that type of thing. Oh, cool, Jim. You read the Valve handbook? Awesome. What's up, Sweet D? What about first-person view only server? Maybe. I mean, if we've got enough, if we got a gazillion players, I don't recommend doing that. Then we could do something silly. Bart asks, I've seen this question on Discord and Reddit, but I haven't had a chance to try myself. What is the intended design of having a vendor stall? Can you be in your stall but AFK and still buy, sell from your wares? No, you've got to actively trade. One of the things we have discussed is a system by which you can essentially set up a purchase and then put it there using like a variation on our consignment setup. And so maybe you could purchase something and then come pick it up. But we don't want to automate that loop. We want it to be something that's pretty active. But if you're somebody that doesn't really like selling items, you don't want to be the person that's like hawking your wares or whatever. We've got a concept called a consignment container. And what you can do then is you can work out a deal with somebody that is an active trader. And so that person that is sitting at their stall actively selling and buying or whatever, you can give them your item in a secure manner that that you guys have agreed on the terms on. So you can say, hey, I've got this bracer and I want at least 100 gold for it. And so you set up that deal, you give them the bracer, and you know, he can't destroy it, he can't sell it for less than that. You know, if he logs out and it goes beyond the period of time that you've agreed upon, it goes back to the customs agent, and then he sells it for you, but he can sell it for like 200 or 150 or 120 and then get you know, get that like little bit of extra on top, and so you both luck out. So, and the idea is with most of our systems, we want to start from a place of, is this encouraging more social behavior before we start automating things. We know how auction houses work. We could throw an auction house in whenever, but I don't know, it just kind of seems like it's counter to the social vibe that we're trying to create. Goblin said, you should stream the updated Wormsbane sometime to stream. Oh, I can zone over there in a few. Oh, look at this guy, he's swimming. We'll have to work on that. I haven't dug through the auction house app, but I saw it being discussed. Essentially, it's a out-of-game social sort of like social app that we'll look at. Are there monkey sinks? Get all the monkeys out of the game. I know what you mean. Yeah, there are various cash sinks. Including housing, as we were talking about. Like that stall that we were just talking about, you actually have to rent it. Will there be hidden dungeons in oceans? There will be. Liz, what did you say? I saw your name go by. Yeah, so no like EQ vendor bags yet. Nope, nothing like that yet. And instead what we'd rather have is display cases so that you can show off wares, but you have to manually trade. Have you ever considered the possibility of having a donation account of some sort with goals for opening special servers for a period of time while still having subscriptions? Nothing like that would impact the game itself. Where do the rents go? The rent money goes to, well, I mean, it goes to keep the streets clean. It goes to empty all the bathrooms that you don't ever see. Painting the signs, paying the guards. Kellyx, thanks. Heating the bathhouses, cleaning the bathhouses. Painting the guards. Well. What time is it supposed to be in here? Oops. Time set. Okay. Would say renting a home or a stall in a smaller city be cheaper? It has that potential. Oh, speaking of which, do you want to see something kind of cool? For those of you that aren't familiar with the concept. Let me so out here in Shallow Shoals, this wonderful tropical oasis island. You can rent stalls and houses and bungalows here. So this island is meant to be like a player housing island. So this whole island's just for the for you. Don't leak it. People have seen this. I've shown this off before. How far ahead can you rent? I believe you can rent ahead 3 months, but we can set it per place, per every instance. It tells you. Ignore that. And that. Any idea when furniture will be fully implemented? No collision at the moment. It will be implemented by beta. Dumb question. Can you leash monsters to the housing area? You mean like restrict them so they can't leave here? Or can you drag them here? Trolls will not be in beta, no. Are houses for storage or for fun? Ideally both. And drag them. Yeah, you can drag them. Can you customize your house sign? You will be able to. You can't at the moment. And keep in mind, as we go, we will add to these concepts, right? So there may be things that we try out, and we'll use this as like a test ground. So it could be, you know, it could be a thing that, what if you can hire guards? But then again, maybe that's something that you would want players to be able to do. What if you can, what if there's like a wizard spire, but it's broken and you can repair it? What if, you know, like, so there'll be things that we are able to experiment with and play with that, even if it's not available the moment we go into early access. Part of what we're doing in early access is taking the foundation and adding more stuff. Will housing allow for gardens to grow stuff for alchemy, etc.? Yeah, that's the hope. Goblin, you asked something earlier and I missed it, I think. Okay, no. The Wormsbane thing. Can you craft chests for your houses? Dusty, yeah. You can do woodworking. And will there be a limit on how many you can place in there? Yeah. Fruity Gum and Owen Sir, thank you for the follows. Sorry on that. Can houses be built over other houses? No. And at the moment, we don't have anything like a dilapidated house that you can fix up, but we discussed how we might be able to do that. Tondon said something I'd seen about EQ was the thought for the game was to create something like a video game version of D&D. That said, with all the elements you're putting into M&M, it seemed like you're taking that thought even further. Yeah, that's sort of the inspiration, was like what inspired the guys that made the original MMOs, and then can we go back to that and kind of dig into it. So let me zone to Wormsbane. New textures in Wormsbane. Let me get a... That lantern's going to be too bright. No, it's not too bright. How much brighter is it than a torch? Let me... Oh, it's the same. Okay, cool. Will there be pipeweed to smoke in the halfling zone? I hope so. I'm a fan of like pipes. Got a couple on my desk, and so I would love to get them in. It's old pipe tobacco, like aromatic pipe tobacco, is kind of like potpourri for old dudes. Oh man, it's so nice. Ah, that's such a great smell. Not cherry. This is, it's more of a vanilla. Do I have infravision? No, because I stream so much, I don't pick it typically just so I can, so it's not biasing the look. I noticed on this machine, the settings, like you can see it not just in here, but like everywhere. The settings are a lot more, contrasty. They look a bit more like the video that Blink had put together for after the playtest. And people are like asking like, "Oh, are the textures different?" And he said, "Oh, it looks like this on my machine." I kind of honestly I need to go in and adjust my settings and stuff on here because I like on the previous machine it was a little bit softer. But any word on the next upcoming race or monster? What's being worked on right now, Zukin? We're still working through some deep elf stuff and some deep gnome stuff. And in terms of monster that's being worked on, I'm trying to think. My head's not in the game. Will there be second breakfast? Yeah. I didn't have first dinner tonight. I need to actually... You want to hear something horrible? So I kind of had a late lunch, and then I went to the grocery store. And we've got bakeries just all over the place here in Germany. And I was like, I'm definitely buying some pastries. And so I came home, I had a late lunch, and then talked to Jasmine. Was like, do you want some pastries and coffee? And then we had pastries and coffee. And then we looked. Yeah, it was wonderful. And then we looked at the time and it was like, oh crap, it's like 5 o'clock and we're having pastries and coffee. So are we going to eat dinner? Because she had to run to the range, and I needed to get ready to stream. And so we haven't had dinner. We had some nice cake and some coffee and no dinner. So bong and a blintz, yeah. I love gold. But maybe after I'm done here in a little bit, I'll eat some dinner. Is she retired military as well? No, she is. She is a dental surgeon. And I'm not retired military either. I was only in the military for 3 years and 17 weeks. She likes guns though? Yeah. Well, as a dental surgeon, she is very mechanically adept. Like she's got very good motor skills. So she was a natural at shooting. Who's a better shot? She with a pistol is definitely a better shot. I would say she's a better shot than most, because she shoots a lot. And with a rifle, no contest. She can't even get near my skills. We've updated the textures. We've updated textures in here. Yeah, I'm glancing over the shoulder. What sound settings you rockin'? It may be mono. It may be mono in the current setup. I've gotta, like, I need to go through and see what was going on because it wasn't working at all earlier. So I just grabbed something. Oops. I died. I think, but I don't think it's in-game. I think, right? Because there is no way to change that in-game, is there, Robert? Hey, by the way, hi, Robert. No. But I think it's because I have a brand new computer, I think there's some, like, wacky shit going on with my sound. So I wonder if we can fix that right now. Sound. My system settings. Because it wasn't working at all when I first started Streamlabs, and so I had to do a thing, but I probably didn't do the right thing. So let's go. Output. That didn't do it, did it? I still don't see a second. I don't see a second bar on. I wonder if it's Streamlabs then. Get the music going again. Oh, man. Zone. Where are we going to zone to next? We'll zone somewhere green. Weird thing happened to me recently where the audio is coming out of one ear. I had to turn mono and OBS. Let me look in OBS and see if something wacky's going on with... Oh, 1 second. I'm also going to mute because Jasmine's going to make noise. Yeah, the little audio, like the mixer is only showing one bar, so I think it's in here. So let me open up the properties. Desktop audio. That just broke it. Trying to see. Robert, do you see anything obvious? Start with Windows audio settings first. Okay. I may wind up having to do this like off stream and just get one of the guys to make sure I'm doing it right. I'll check that Windows again in 1 second. Let me see. Cactus Coder asked, Robot had a crazy idea the other day. There's a core vision and all the features you guys already planned. Then there are some ideas people want to see, such as playable frogs. Maybe you could have a system where the effort to add translates into subs. People could dedicate their subs to those features they want that are on top of the core scope of the game design. We've joked in the past about about stretch goals, subscription stretch goals, and just go, if we hit X number of subs, then we'll do this or whatever. I thought you were going to take that in a different direction. Goblin said, Wormsbane now has curvature and ambient occlusion baked in, which gives it much more depth. Yeah, and apologies for not like exploring deeper. I just, for people that haven't been in the dungeon, I didn't want to ruin too many. Like I didn't want to show off too much. And then I got distracted by the audio question. Yeah, I mentioned the textures because I thought you guys had tweaked that stuff as well. Will there be more graphic options eventually in settings in order to like optimize things, or? I believe that's been discussed. Well, is the curvature and ambient occlusion something that will be in every zone at some point? Yeah, I believe we're going through and kind of hitting them one by one at the moment. I don't think I'm gonna make it. Let me cheat. Cat girls from the moon win? I don't think I'm allowed to tell. There are certain secrets I've been forced to keep. Let me see if I can find this setting. Are there any plans for an astronomy type profession or system? Loose plans. What, without ruining anything, what zone was Goblin? What zone? Oh, and we got new waterfall art. If I can stop drowning. There's the ship. I gotta get to the ship. We're gonna take a boat ride, guys. Ollie's been working on the boats. Oh shit. Okay, I'm too fast now. Ollie's been working on the boats. Let's see how we do. I'm the captain now. Cool. So we can do this in the background. We'll chat and we'll have this. Will there be rowboats? Yeah, we want to get rowboats in. It's one of the things that we discussed when we were like talking about the design of like the mount system and stuff. Atomic Frog, that is not nice. I thought Sean was about to swap his pirate hat. If I had a pirate hat, I would. Oh my gosh, that would be so good. Any plans for random monster encounters on boat rides? It's something that's discussed, but that's like a... That's a figure it out much later kind of thing. I see a lot of suggestions and questions here for what about X Future. I wonder how serious you guys are taking scope creep. Is there a core feature set which is always takes priority? Nightburn, yeah, we've got it posted, and then we've stuck pretty true to it. And then for the beta information that we want to put forward, we're probably going to be pretty detailed on that as well. That's the current plan. I don't try not to oversell it or whatever, but like if you go to, we did a deconstruction early on. You can find it on our website. Is the mic clipping a bit? It's probably because I just wasn't facing it properly. This probably needs a little bit of update. We try to update it as we go. But you know, we've tried to stick basically, you know, we've added a little bit here and there, but we try to manage our scope pretty tightly. Yeah, we take the fact that we are a all volunteer team and, you know, making a relatively niche smaller scope game pretty seriously. Any discussion about gnomish submersible submarines? There's been some tongue-in-cheek discussion of it in the past, yeah. Seems cool. What's the coolest idea you ultimately decided not to implement? For EA or just in general? Is it a little more bright at night when the stars and moon provide light? Yeah, they do have an impact on it. Mandrake as a playable race. Yeah, that's scope creep. Any constellations in the Skybox? There are. They'll be very familiar to you. At some point, you may see other stuff that you're not currently seeing in the Skybox. But yeah, there'll be more going on in the Skybox over time. What about playable shrooms or frogs? No plans for that. Waiting for this boat to go. Come on, boat. Thanks, Fern. Did you just say the Latin sales are still misrigged? Are you kidding me? How could we have possibly gotten that detail wrong? What is a Latin sale? I blame Baloo. Will we have 2 boats going back and forth eventually? We currently have 2 boats going back and forth. Ollie just put those in, Goblin. The diagonal sail? How is it misrigged? Yeah, sorry, none of us were in the village, people. We don't know the proper sail terminology. Do they pass each other? I believe they do. Want to jump boat to boat? That would be awesome. Foremast? Yeah, no. We don't talk about that here. The problem with sailing is that you have to do it in deep bodies of water. Like if we're just sailing in like very shallow water, I think that's fine, but you've submitted a bug report? Good. Good. We're sailing, guys. Everybody grab your foremast. Don't want to snag it on anything. Yeah, swab your poop decks. Let's go. It is interrupted. If you offend me, you're sorry. How would you offend me? Did I miss something? Did you do something offensive? What did I miss? Maybe a chance to have games of chance, or maybe the boat can have games of chance below deck. That would be awesome. I would love to get a gnomish riverboat in. So one of the reasons, one of the things we want to do is like have nice big wide rivers so that we can have riverboats going up them. There's a boat that will go from Night Harbor up the river that goes along the edge of Sungreet. And that will take you up north towards Terralon. It would be cool if it's a riverboat, and it would be cool if there were games on the riverboat. We got to get the games in for the tavern, and then we can put them on the riverboat. Gnomish riverboat would be about the size of the hatch beside you. 20 seats? No. We're entrepreneurs, thank you. We would build it to be stupid size for all the stupid people that want to ride on it. Can you get up on the poop deck? I don't know what the poop deck is. Well, that was a quick journey. I have to ask Ollie what happened there. Oh, we got a little occlusion thingy happening here. Oh, did that fix it? Is realistic cloth physics possible or wanted for a minute? We've got cloth physics, but we use it subtly because we are very refined. People don't realize we got a lot of stuff going on. We may have gone for a lower poly art style, but we're very sophisticated. We just sneak it in. Look at the edge of my mantle. Oh yeah, the pointy hat. Do I have... Does this tune not have a hat? I don't have a hat on this guy. Please tell me boob bounce is not a thing. Well, it wasn't until you said it that way, Liz. Put on a cape. Yeah, let me find a cool cloak that I can wear. Not the cloak I was thinking, but hey. Will troll nose bounce be a thing? That might be a thing. Will gnomish booty bounce be a thing? Maybe. Oh no, I got stuck. What kind of game is this? Hey Swanee, what's going on? Oh yeah, I guess I could have crouched and tried it. I need a different cloak to try on. He said, walking around Epcot with my wife and while my wife and son ride Guardians. Oh, right on. Greyfowl, I don't think that we're shooting for that type of a game. Not saying there's not a brothel in game, but still, nothing that we would admit to. All right, giddy up, ship. Let's go. We got places to be. Well, it's true. I definitely, I know of the places in the bins that you're referring to. I thought we were leaving already. Are there fireworks yet? Not that I know of. I'm afraid to leave the boat because it might take off. We gotta get the bell ringing in before it leaves. Oh, let me look, see if I can find a different cloak. Some interesting light-colored square water out there. It may be where the foam is kind of doing a wacky thing. We definitely need a bake occlusion in this zone. Unless that's just a thing that happens on the boat. I'm afraid the boat's about to leave. Maybe it just happens on the boat. The lanterns on the boat were lit. And I think my lantern is just lighter. They are too dim though, yeah. What's up, Chip? Draugr said lanterns on the boat suck, lol. Hey, you calm down. What do you, huh? I know it's Friday. I know you're excited. Be kind to our boat. What about certain creatures that have damage resistance unless there's X amount of light? I like it. Can you place torches on the boat or make a fire? No. Alright, we're out of here. We're zooming off. This is... Alright, we are rolling, guys. Maybe hang a big old lantern on your foremast. One of the guys in my unit in the army could hang a padlock through his foremast. It was very, very odd behavior. Give the boat AI. If people are too mean, it sinks itself. You don't... The last time we had boat AI, there was some murdering that went on. We're not going to do that again. Take care, Island. Swanee, have a great weekend yourself. Have fun chasing the 2-year-old, buddy. Enjoy Disney. Didn't a boat murder Nick? It did. Not going to say he wasn't asking for it, but it did in fact murder Nick. Any plans for Mac OS X version of the game? I don't want to misspeak, but I thought, like, ultimately, Ollie's mentioned wanting to support Mac. Zillith may know a better answer for you. Swanee said, we've been experimenting. When I say we, I mean Zillith. Our new launcher will bring us closer to Mac and Linux possibilities. You heard it from Swanee. Zilla said, we'd like to. There is a lighting issue in Unity that they have not fixed yet. Some configurations of Crest that are problematic on macOS, and then the patcher Swanee alluded to. And whoever asked about the water earlier, that is not something that we made ourselves. We're using Crest 5, I believe. Zilla said that said it runs well via crossover and Sikaruger? Am I pronouncing? You've got like the question mark on spelling. I've got the question mark on pronunciation. Oh, that's a shorter stop here at the player island. And we're off again. Tondon said, I'm running Eminem on Linux Mint using Lutris. Will there be Levitate? We're trying to provide some Levitate-like options that are fairly limited so that we don't create the situation where people are just going everywhere and avoiding everything. So something that's more akin of to a situational feather fall, like a quick feather fall, or water walking ability, things like that. Any plans to make going to the huts on the player island walkable, or is it intended to have to swim around the island? I mean, you can walk on the island in the little boardwalks. Where are you walking from? Oh, the dock makes you swim around to get up the hill. Yeah, we need to look at that. That's a good point. We'll have to maybe tweak that when Baloo / Simon and Chinny come back in here to touch up a few things. Mushu, thank you for the follow. Cactus Coder, that was like 32 minutes ago. Did I say thank you? I might not have. I'm not hearing any notifications, so it kind of sneaked by. Velcator. Thank you for the follow. Terminal Gain said I had the best results playing on Linux using bottles on Nobara. I don't know what any of that means. But I believe you, and I believe that it's a good thing. I'm convinced people are just making up words. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't even try to pretend to know stuff. Cactus Coder said, no, thanks so much for answering. Also, for what it's worth, I love the game thus far. I'm very excited. This is pretty much exactly what I wanted. I've been waiting forever for EQ Next, EQ3 to scratch his itch. So, well, we're very pleased you like it. There are Linux distros. Oh, hey. What's going on? Oh, you got me a hat. Thank you. I want your hat. Why'd you give me this? I want that hat. Why'd you give me that? How many zones does a boat ride take? It's like a fever dream. He's gone. Where's my hat? It goes from, in this case, Keeper's Bite to Shallow Shoals to Fallen Pass to Shaded Dunes to Night Harbor. I ran out of fingers. Shit. To Night Harbor. Did you just hear a coin sound when you zoned? I didn't hear it, but your ears are more refined than mine. Oh wait, I'm like trying to grab it out of your inventory like some sort of dum-dum. There we go, now I'm looking good. Yeah, it might have, I think it was because I had the trade window open when we zoned. Oh, or it could also be that I had a... That sounded like a torch. Oh, there went a boat. See, they're going the opposite direction. Whoever asked that earlier. I think Goblin might have. Tondon said, I'm just hoping some of my RL friends get into beta and then I will be playing the game all the time instead of having to log in another game to play with them. Yeah. Well, we've got the lottery system going. Well, let me correct the statement. We will have the lottery system going. It's not going yet. We'll have to see if we can get some closer boat action, Goblin. So where there are coins being traded, there were not. Lottery system skewed towards character names that start with SKW? Might be. You don't know. So we're in Fallen Pass now. We may want to turn off our lanterns so we don't get bushwhacked. You guys, you would tell me if the music was too loud, wouldn't you? I just looked down at the mixer and it was like blasting. Okay. You like the level right after I accidentally nudged it a little bit. Oh, sorry about that. Who is making the music for Eminem? Robert is. He was in here earlier. I just got a new machine, so I don't think all of my commands are set up properly, but let's see. Oh, there you go. There's a playlist. You can listen to all of it in the comfort of your own home. Yep, the plan is for there to be more music. We will, we are never letting him go. He's going to be chained to his keyboards and he will be forced to make more Eminem music forever. Faldine, thank you for the follow. To the music minds, exactly. Excuse me. And away we go. Nice sunrise, atmospheric. Any plans for merch? Oh, we have so many plans for merch. We have so many plans. The merch, you won't even believe some of the merch. Oh my gosh, the merch. You're not even gonna fully comprehend it until you see it. Cloth maps are one of those things that we want to do eventually, but they're going to be something that we have to like pay for in advance and have produced and stuff, but that we aspire to cloth maps for sure. But we've got some fun ideas for getting us to that point. Yeah. Anyone writing novels for you? Almost done with my doctorate, and I'd love to try my hand at that as a side hustle. Nobody's writing novels for us yet. Never know. You can feel free to shoot me a DM in Discord. I think the facade back there is doing some wacky stuff. I think there are parts of Night Harbor missing in the distance, but that happens sometimes. I blame addressables. What's up, Lich? See? Fixed. Oh my gosh, I'm sleepy. Long days around these parts. Dude, I get up at 5:30 when Jasmine wakes up to get ready for work. And I immediately just start guzzling coffee. I do feel like these... Yeah, there we go. I do feel like the ship's railings are a bit discriminatory against gnomes. Thank you. How much coffee do I drink in a day? It's hard to tell because I make very watery instant coffee for the most part. But I don't know if you've seen it on stream. My coffee mug is, I think, half a liter. So if I had to guess, I drink 1.5 to maybe 2.5 liters a day. And I think it's what, like four liters in a gallon. I need to figure out my coffee intake. What? You're not the boss of me. Really want to buy a double boiler espresso machine, but they're expensive. Yeah, man. Once a year, I get a bug that makes me think I want to own a nice coffee machine, and then Ollie gives me all the information I need to research. I look at the prices, and then I go back to drinking instant coffee. Yeah, so over time, it will be a city filled with adventure. We're just going to keep layering in more and more and more stuff. And yeah. Then by 1.0, it'll just be like you'll hopefully there'll be a new generation of people coming in and remembering their first time rolling up on a city and then just discovering shit. Will halfling female get new haircut? The guys have been working through a number of different additional hairstyles for the various races. Excuse me. And Lasava's been working on some cool city factional quests. Alright, we're in the big city now, boys. Goblin said, just finished my pass on halfling female hair, actually. See, there you go. Alright, that was anticlimactic. Zilla said, I just brew a normal drip pot, but I buy beans and grind it every day, and that's pretty good with Costco Columbia beans. One with the tweaking Jaguar on it. Yeah, that would probably be too strong for me. But whenever we drink real coffee, it's kind of like, holy crap, this is legit. Like I said, I drink really watery instant coffee. We have unlockable naming editions. Early access people would turn on founder name. Something less silly. No plans for anything like that this time. Weird question, but do you think the world map on your website will be revealed, updated with each module release? Yep. We'll be continuing to update the map for there and character create, stuff like that. Man, I really got to get in here and get some damn housing. Continue to implement housing. I haven't done the harbor area yet. When I got so many bugs to fix on the other housing. Gonna have special titles for people from GM events and stuff? Maybe. Keep it pretty rare though, try to keep it special. We'll have to discuss that with the GMs. Will each race get its own city? Yep. And humans get 3. Oh, hey, there's Rift's house. Yeah, so there's been more texture work going on. I don't know if you guys have been seeing it in the updates and stuff, but... Will there be different humans since there are 3 different human cities? Yep. There'll be additional options. Yeah. And they are based on different cultures. There will be no erudites. They're factored into the customization that exists for all humans. Oh, not like high humans. Barbarians is more of just the logistics. How do we want to handle it eventually kind of thing. Like bigger body types or whatever. It's something we talk about every once in a while. How's the new PC doing? It's doing well. I'm actually really amped. What type of PC do I end up with? It's cool. It's black. It's got glass on one side. It's got wood on the front. It's very pretty. No, I don't have my specs linked anywhere. I barely remember them. I'm not very into technology. We got a Ryzen 7 a Ryzen 7 9700 X with 5070 Ti, and I'm not listening to Lich. Yeah, so we've made it all the way back. We've basically traveled around the world mostly. And it is 11 o'clock. So one of the things that I wanted to mention again is let me zone to Evershade. What was I gonna say? You guys just asked something. I was. So yeah, Sunday I'm gonna stream again. And I'm gonna be hanging out with the guys from Embers Adrift. I've been wanting to do another stream with them for quite a while, and so talked to them the other day and set it up. So we'll get together on Sunday and just like be checking out Embers Adrift and talking to them about like their journey so far, what they ran into, kind of like, you know, some of the backstory and what they've seen with the game, and then check out their latest information. They got some stuff going on, and we'll post the VOD, don't worry. And yeah, and then that'll be the last stream before the holidays, basically. I don't have a time yet. I'll mention it in Discord as soon as we lock it down. And let's see. Yeah, that's that. Archon Warlock and Rothrin, is that it? And Rothrin, wow. Thank you for the follows. Sorry for delay in responding. The beta information will be something that we post an update on. We'll be working on that this weekend. And then we'll be discussing it. You know, we can discuss it in detail on stream, you know, next year. But we need to get it posted and stuff first. And yeah, and that'll be that. Is anybody from the team streaming right now or streaming in the next few minutes? Zukin can. Cool. If you hop on and then just let us know, Zukin, then we'll raid you. Everyone have a blessed and great afternoon, evening. Great video. Hey, Gebo 2023. Thank you for that. You too. If you're out of here, then have a Merry Christmas. You guys stick around and we'll raid Zukin. You can ask him a million questions about the characters and see some cool stuff. Appreciate it, everybody. Be sure to stick around. Don't go anywhere. You're very welcome, Squirrel and Terrell and Toxins and Derelict, Cactus Coder and Chaz Solo and Jabinley and Tavish. Merry Christmas, everybody, or whatever you're into. I We're Christmas people, so we'll just share our thing, but you feel free to share whatever you're into. Hey, thanks for being here. MMO Pug, Merry Christmas, Knuckles, Amnesiac, Captain Hook, Idri Solo, Lazy Lions, Vexforge, Rondo, Liz Biscuits. Merry Christmas, all of you. It's so crazy it's Christmas. My head's been so like in work. Like it hasn't sunk in at all. We've got a nice Christmas tree set up. We got a nice nativity scene set up. We've wrapped some presents for each other, but like next week it's going to be nice to kind of like turn off a little bit and then enjoy the family time. It's been a busy year, guys. This year has flown by. Like I can't even believe it's the end of the year right now. We got so much shit done this year though. Wow. Pixie Moon Magic. I've had a great, very busy week. I hope you've had a wonderful one. Thank you, Craft. And Squats and Pipes. Bill. Thanks for being here, buddy. Bill, Nicodemus just celebrated his 2-year anniversary on the team. Redress, Merry Christmas. Faith Fellowship Fun, very Merry Christmas to you as well. Asmodania, Dania. I like Dania. Sounds more formal. All right, Zukin's live, everybody. Methos, thank you. See you jump in. Draugr. Dusty. All of you guys, hey, Merry Christmas. Let's go ahead and we're gonna raid Zukin now. Zukin Sculpts is live, so let's go ahead and raid Zukin. If I don't see you guys on Sunday, then Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Wish everybody the best for you, your families. All right, I think we're ready to go. See you guys.